Hello everyone, Dr. Eames here. This time I'd like to talk to you about the global business environment. Of all the environments that we have to discuss, this one is the one that really affects everything in all other environments. Um, Today we live in a world of global competition, and our supply lines and our use of sourcing and insourcing and outsourcing have global implications. We have trade issues to think about. In the past, our culture has been traditionally free trade, yet today we are really seeing a de-emphasis on that. Um, and all sorts of things. What we compete on today is a global standard. It's not about who can make something the fastest necessarily. It's who can make something that is the best quality. So everything that happens in the global environment is going to really affect us in some way. Now, globalization has really grown in the last few decades, especially because of advances in technology. It's simply a fact that our software in many areas and many industries has gotten much better. So we have much more efficient distribution systems than we've ever seen in the past, and our communication systems. Look at the venue we're using right now. 5 years ago, even, it wasn't quite as easy to use this sort of conferencing video sort of software to communicate together. That has changed the way business is done. And then, of course, the internet and the rise of the internet, where it's a wealth of potential information for us, depending on how savvy we are on what we're reading and whether or not we think we can believe it and if it's from a trusted source or not. So we are immersed in the global environment. It affects every bit of the way we do business. Certainly, we have to think about things like wars or terrorism. If these things are happening on the other side of the world, they simply still have a tremendous effect on us. They can disrupt economics, they can disrupt trade, they can destroy infrastructure, and so forth. And so business is not immune to these sorts of forces. So global changes do affect our world of business. And if we're an entrepreneur and suddenly we're at war with some of the major markets we've been trading with over time, and that trade gets interrupted and supply lines get disrupted and maybe changed or lost forever, you could go out of business. And that, of course, is part of the risk that entrepreneurs take. But we have to talk about it in the terms of globalism. We have to respond. And then there's certainly the ecological environment. What happens around the world in various places does affect business. It affects the world because things that are happening in other places affect climate change, the greening of the earth, or the destruction of the earth. For instance, the continuous burning and destruction of the tropical rainforest in Brazil. It's got the government sanction to do such a thing, this expansion. It's unlimited expansion. The president there has made it wide open. And so companies big and small are out there just burning down the jungles. This has a huge implication for the future. Not only are we losing an entire swath of some of the most biodiverse areas in the world, but it's going to deposit all that burnt material in the form of carbons into the atmosphere, and it's going to contribute to the heating of the atmosphere and really affect us with climate change. And certainly climate change affects the world of business and how we do things. Okay, folks, that's all I want to talk about this time. I'll talk to you again soon.